Well, hi, good morning. This is Keisha, founder and content creator for Radically Blended Services. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker and mom, person that has been married to my partner for 17 years, been with him 20 plus years, and we are an interracial couple. And I am a very proud black woman here. Wanted to share with you some tips on how to set boundaries. hmm During Mental Health Awareness Month, I've been talking all about, techniques, symptoms of situations, things, and how to just take care of yourself in the midst of all that's going on in this world and all that's going on in your world. So, what prompted this topic is just seeing what happened with my girl Kelly Rowland at an event in France, and just the talk around it. And I saw the one visual where you couldn't see what was being said, but you knew that there was some tension between her and the security guard. Um, but then learning about her experience and how she, just shared how it made her feel and how she just stood her ground, but stood in a very classy way. I just want to dedicate this to you, Kelly Rowland, and all of the people out there that have been pushed to make, to make the uncomfortable decision to set a boundary with someone when you just assume that they should know better. But that ain't always the case, y'all. So, what are boundaries? Well, it's a communicated, sometimes nonverbal way of letting someone know that you are putting up a guard of some sort. You're putting up a barrier where that person or that thing or whoever should not cross because it would violate a sense of safety and respect that you have, that you want others to have for you. All right? That's my own little definition. But you get what I'm saying. So I want to talk about healthy boundaries in certain relationships, right? We have relationships with everyone, and it varies from very intimate to very casual, but in some sort of way, it still is a relationship, right? So the first one I want to think just when you're in your family, because that's how you first get here. You come out of some family unit, whether it's biological or not. You are given a bunch of people that are supposed to protect you and keep you safe. And that is not always the case. We know that, right? We know that, and I especially know that being a school professional for 20 plus years, as well as being in a family unit myself, there was lots of boundary break-ins with each other, and it looks like it's normal, right? We think, oh, you don't supposed to have boundaries with your family. They could just walk in the bathroom when you're getting out the shower. We're family. Or it's okay if I, just eat some of your food, we're family, we're related. Or come on now, we're married. What's the big deal if I, stick my nose and stick my finger in my nose, and then I just wipe it on something? What's the big deal? You don't care about that. It don't matter, right? These are the things that I'm sure happen happen to someone. Not the nose thing, that never gonna happen with me. But anyway, that family is the first place where we either learn what boundaries are or what boundaries are not. Okay? Family is very good for crossing them because they think they have a right because you're born into the family. We know each other. What's the big deal? But this is the best place for you to learn how to practice them and to assert yourself. And some people take a healthy approach when it comes to setting boundaries, such as, communicating and being very gentle with how they communicate, setting a boundary. And then some are aggressive and headed up to here. Like they've let it pass, they've let it just happen without communicating that they don't like it. Now that's the key thing. Or they like gently say something to the person like, I really don't like when you do that. And then the person like, oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. And then maybe they'll stop. And then others, they're like, oh, Why don't you say anything before? And then they keep doing it. And there's various of other responses when people set boundaries. But this is an example I see a lot when it comes to clients having issues with family members, concerning boundaries. And one thing you want to do first is communicate. Communicate very clearly and very effectively. And it's really good if you do it in the moment of the action that you don't like, because it's in real time and they could see what they did. Like waiting till afterwards or waiting before it happens again. Sometimes people make excuses or they become very defensive that you are pointing out something that they're not even aware of that they're doing. So it's good to get it in the moment if you can bear it. And you can just let them know. Even if you do it before the moment, you can just say, okay, I'm going to point it out to you when you do it, just so you know. That's going to heighten that person's sense of awareness, like, oh, now they want to do all that. Or they're going to question, like, damn, do I do that? Huh. So that's going to work in your favor. Just think about that. And as we move out the stages of like being around our family, or we grow out of it, we find our new home, we are in choice relationships with friendships, not always a choice with jobs, but these will be a new set of boundaries that you need to set. What people refer to you as. Do you have a nickname? Do you prefer to be called Mrs. or Mr. or just your name? Are you someone that, you bring your lunch to work? Are you someone that has to make sure your food doesn't get eaten because coworkers be crossing boundaries, right? Are you someone that doesn't like people to be that close in your face when they're talking about something? You're going over a project, or, they want to like just kind of share a bit of gossip with you. And are they like super close with telling you that? You want to check them on that and ask them, hey, do you mind not being so close? But yeah, and then we get into relationships. And one thing that was very important to me, having had the experience of my boundaries just not being respected in various parts of my life, but in the intimate relationship category, you can say, I wanted to do better this time. And that was really successful for me going into a relationship with my husband, because I had all of this previous experience that I did not like when it came to how my boundaries was crossed. And so I chose to communicate very effectively with Syriac about that, and he respected that. And of course, along the way, there are other things that pop up that never happened to me before that I really had to process. Okay, how do I communicate this boundary? Because I'm a former people pleaser, like many of you, I'm sure. And I really thought like, this is conflict resolution. I'm not very comfortable with, being in conflict, or I'm perceiving it as that, right? It really is just asserting communication with someone. It doesn't have to be a whole brawl and like, you did this to me, stop doing that. It doesn't have to be that, right? But if you have anxiety, like I occasionally have, that you can start to overthink and you start to like make things seem like there's something that they're not. So, think about that. All right. So yeah, when you're in your casual relationships or professional relationships, it's very important that you stay very not stern, I want to say, but assertive. You stay assertive in your boundaries and just letting people know. If they mispronounce your name, this is a big one, right, in our community of those that are first generation that may have names from their heritage or an indigenous name or anything like that, or just a name that is not centered in whiteness. It's not a Eurocentric name. It's very important, and everybody has that problem pronouncing people's names. It's not just white people, right? Some people like, can I just, give you a nickname or something? This is very important, where you just, very nice and, not a lot of negative energy. Just say, oh, I really prefer that you Call me by the name that I'm asking you to call me by. I know it might be a little hard, but we can work on how to pronounce it because it's very important to me. And I know that you're culturally competent, so I know you can do this. And you can just say it like that. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Doesn't have to be like, you're going to say my name the way my mama put it on my birth certificate, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. Another area that I see a lot with my clients when it comes to boundaries is in intimate partner relationships. This is, yeah, I see this a lot. Hi, you all that's joining. I just decided to do this because my phone has so much information in it. I'm like, I'm just going to go live today. I know it's random as hell, but I'm just going to do it. And then, hey, hopefully, you know, I could just start doing this more because I do have some updates and surprises for you all that I'll drop on June the 1st. All right. But anyway, back to what I was saying when it comes to boundaries. When it comes to intimate partner relationships, in the beginning, it's very important that you state to this person that you are getting romantic feelings with and you are deciding to be in a relationship, that you two communicate what's your boundary and give a bunch of scenarios, whether it comes to, you know, who's going to pay for the bill. If I ask you, you want to go to this event, am I expected? Or, hey, like as far as when you're going to be physical, kissing or anything like that, what is the boundary with that? Public displays of affection. Do you have a boundary with that? Do you not like being touched? Do you not like always holding hands or kissing in public? This is stuff that's very important to talk about when it comes to your relationships. And when you're interacting with each other's friends and families, are there boundaries that you have there? What about when you talk about things, very private things with this person, your partner? Do you have restrictions like, please don't go telling your mom or your friends about this? You know, those things are very important to know and to communicate with your partner, with this person that you're in this budding relationship with. Because if you don't, it's going to spark up. And, you know, let's say you forgot something. You're like, oh, this issue is coming up. Let me just talk about this. You can just say, hey, I didn't see this beforehand, but I want to talk about something with you that I would like to set a boundary with. You see how easy that is? So don't feel that, oh, I didn't say it before, I can't say it now. You have every right to set a boundary whenever you feel like it and to communicate that. The worst thing is giving people the silent treatment because you don't know how to communicate what you need. Okay? So it takes emotional maturity to be able to let people know what your boundary is and why it matters to you. And even if they don't agree, that's their problem. It's not yours. All you need to focus on and do is just making sure that you're good. All right? So those are just a few tips I wanted to bring up. Again, this was in, you know, just in thinking about what Kelly Rowland went through at the, you know, France event. So I like this. I'm going to do this more often. So I'll put up, you know, some times and dates where I'm like, hey, I'm going to go live. Join me on there. Ask me anything related to mental health, related to dating and marriage, whatever. So if you're interested in that, leave me a comment. Let me know because I want to make sure that I am using all that's in here. I'm using it to help you and to, you know, support you on your journey wherever you are, whatever that journey looks like. All right. Happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend if you are in the States. And just enjoy yourself. Bye. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month too. Bye.